think we found another. Get ready.
Hi, it's me, Gatsby, from Gatskin, making a quick little video here because Deltarune Tomorrow! I am so excited for the 24th. I keep having dreams about Chapter 5. Literally Sunday night, there was this dream I had where it was revealed that Papyrus and Undyne were somehow like the same person, but it was like timeline, space-time shenanigans, and then Papyrus was the one who was actually stuck in the game code. How's that for a theory? A Deltarune theorists. Seriously though, I wanted to make a quick little video here as a time capsule in a pre-Chapter 5 world. My hopes, my predictions on what's gonna happen. I'm not much of a theorist. The closest I ever got with that whole, prediction thing was when Pokemon Legends Arceus was announced, and I predicted Cynthia's ancestor would be the villain before we knew Volo was gonna be a thing. That was my peak. I haven't gotten anything right since then, but hey, you miss all the shots you never take. So, final day in a pre-Chapter 5 world. Here's just a quick little video discussing, rambling, my half-formed thoughts on what could happen in Deltarune Chapter 5. Number 1. The reason why Chapter 5 has Japanese influence, my first thought was that Alphys is involved with that somehow. I, like a lot of people, was pretty surprised to see, like, the Japanese stuff. Nothing wrong with it. Japan's pretty cool. But in association with Asgore and the whole entire Flower King, I know we all thought of that one. The one image with the white guy. The one. And when I think of Undertale / Deltarune characters who I associate with Japan, my first thought is Alphys, because she's a huge weeb. Followed by Onion-san, but I highly doubt Onion-san is the reason. Like, Onion-san's not like a major enough character, doesn't really have ties to Asgore. So right now, my theory is the Japanese influences are either directly because or caused indirectly by Alphys in like some shape or form, whether it's her like somehow being in the Darkworld, or if I remember correctly, she's still friends with Asgore in Deltarune. Like, she introduced him to, like, anime and manga, and that caused, there to be, like, Japanese stuff in the Chapter 5 Darkworld. The next thing, this is definitely more of a hope rather than a prediction. I would like to see the next secret boss, or, just the overall new chapter fan favorite character, the one people go crazy for, think of, your Spampton, your Tenna. I'd really like that character to be a woman, or at least more feminine presenting, just because I like women. Women are neat. Maybe it could be like some type of flower nymph-esque character that's like very graceful or something. I don't know. A little bit of a girl failure. People love women who are a bit pathetic. If not a secret boss, I could definitely see like a mini boss or something. Like, in my mind, Asgore is gonna be the final boss, probably for Chapter 5. But I could see like a mini boss that's like this flower character who is trying to keep Asgore in Asylum, this dark world, trying to serve her purpose as a Darkner to the extreme. And then Ralsei has to like confront her for that, and that's where he gets his cool scarf power-up that, a lot of people have been predicting. If not that, my next thought, and this really started to form in my head because Tricky Tony released that song on Blue Sky, that's like a preview of a song that will appear in Chapter 5. It's like something, oh gosh, I don't have it pulled up right now. Let me see, what's it called real quick? Dooba-dooba-doo. The Sunset of Seven Suns. And maybe it's just because of the number 7 and Asgore. It was like either in Chapter 1 or 2, he's having that conversation with Sans, where Sans mentions that like the way you keep your flowers, it's like that one movie. That one movie obviously being Beauty and the Beast. So I guess just with the mention of 7, Asgore is already tied to like a Disney property. My first thought is like, oh, what if there's like the 7 flowers that are in Asgore's flower shop? What if they take like a 7 dwarves esque role, and there's a little bit of influence there. It'd be really hilarious if Toriel ends up in this dark world, and she ends up like Snow White, just like asleep again, but just this time in a glass coffin. Speaking of Disney, guys, this is how Woody Theory's still gonna happen. No. I mean, I think Woody Theory is very funny, but no, Woody, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It can't happen. So moving on from the Dark World onto the Light World, specifically shenanigans that could happen in the festival. Quick beginning thing. I think it'd be nice, nice, if the Nice Cream guy came clean to Pizza Pants, and then they either have like a dramatic like liar revealed plot trope where, you know, Pizza Pants feels betrayed, and then like maybe the two like reconcile and then get together, or just Pizza Pants just kind of like automatically like goes with it off the bat because, you know, he's lonely. And then, you know, hashtag yay yowie. That'd be pretty cool. I also just see outside of those two a lot of stocks going up when it comes to various ships. Obviously, number one, Susie and Noelle. That's going to be a big one. Various other ships, Susie and Chris. Chris and Noelle. I'm very excited to see Chris and Birdly interactions, just because I think those two are such a funny duo. Or heck, just more of Birdly, because he's so funny to me in just the most nauseating way. Like, could you imagine Birdly, like, he thinks he's like in some harem anime because he thinks, you know, everybody's like into him, and then Noelle has to like pop his bubble, and then like Birdly's ego is completely destroyed and he gets like really sad and depressed. And then in chapter 6, Chris is like trying to start the roaring or something, and they're in the dark world, and Noelle and Susie, I'll say, they get stopped by a Titan, and all hope seems lost, and Birdly comes in, and he's like, "Go on without me, I'll handle this." They're like, "Birdly, no, you're gonna die!" And he's like, "Don't you know? True gamers never die, they just respawn." And then he like gets his ass kicked by the Titan, and he like dies for real. Weird Root. I am so scared because of Weird Root, because I have this idea in my head that we're gonna get this very cute scene with Susie and Noelle on the Ferris wheel during the normal route, and then in the Weird Route, since Noelle's going with Chris, it's going to be a sick, twisted, scary version. You know, Chris is going to scare Noelle on the Ferris wheel again. And this is where the player is going to be able to take over Noelle. You know, love finds its way to the girl. I know, according to the sweepstakes website, the Weird Route isn't going to be as big in Chapter 5 as it is in Chapter 2, but it's still big enough for something to happen. Okay, here's the final one. This is the big one, and this one is going to be, I think, maybe the most controversial. I think in Chapter 5, we will not see Azrael or Papyrus. In fact, I think for the rest of the game, we'll never see them. Same for Des. I'll go ahead and throw her in there as well. Azrael, Papyrus, Des, we will never actually see them in Deltarune. For Azrael and Papyrus, they were both like such major parts of Undertale. Maybe Tricky Tony won't focus on them really that much. They're just kind of there to be mentioned and teased for the fans, us, to torment us in agony. And I know the idea of Azrael being there for the festival is very popular, but you know, I know what it's like to have an older sibling who's in college, who you want to see, and you think the plans for them to come over and visit from college are set in stone, but oh no, something happens and, you know, they can't come over. So maybe Azrael like fails to come, you know, back and visit the rest of his family because he gets sick with like the stomach bug or something last minute. And that, combined with Toriel's new relationship with Sans, this causes Asgore to like crash out and make the Dark World for Chapter 5. If he even is the one to make the Dark World, because, I mean, it might not be him. It might be somebody else. I don't know who else. Oh no, it's Alphys with the steel chair! As for Des never being shown directly, I think it's because she's dead and we're never getting her back. We, the audience, are never gonna see her because, you know, you just gotta move on sometimes. Oh, Like, if it is her in the game's code, and the Fun Gang, somehow they get her out from that. I just think of the Spiderwick Chronicles, if anyone remembers those books, where, like, the great-grandpa or whatever leaves the fairy circle, and then he, like, just turns to dust and dies. I could just see that happening to Des, where, you know, they get her out of the code, and whatever injuries she got, you know, in the woods or in the shelter or whatever, she just, poof, she's dust. I know I heard this elsewhere, I just don't remember where. You know, H-Bomber guy, you know, you can come down and snipe me for this. But I've really come to like the theory that the Roaring Knight is not Des, but more so is a hollow mockery of Des that has been formed from the twisted memory of what she was like and the desire of people wanting her back. And Carol thinks, you know, the Roaring Knight is the real Des, and she's, you know, making Chris help her bring her daughter back. Sorry, Rudy and Papyrus Knight, you know, truthers. And finally, you know, Papyrus, like I mentioned earlier, I just don't think we'll see him ever. Maybe I'm just being a pessimist here, but it just feels so surreal that he ever would show up. It's hard for me to, like, put into words what I feel about, like, Papyrus, like, actually showing up in the game. It's like, it's like you open chapter 5 and, like, Togor or Chester is, like, there. Like, it would just feel so surreal. I don't know. Like, human, I remember your genocides. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we do get to see Papyrus. Or, even worse, we do get to see Sans brother, but it's not Papyrus. It's another font-themed skeleton, like Gigi. Hello, it's me, Gigi Skeleton. This is my brother Sans. Hello! There was this one theory I saw on Reddit once that was basically Icy's, like, warrior mascot guy is actually Papyrus, who's just, like, really into his job. And that's his thing in Deltarune, instead of, you know, how in Undertale, you know, where his thing, he really wanted to be, like, part of the Royal Guard. In Deltarune, he's just really obsessed with, you know, working at Icy's and being, like, the best Icy's mascot, you know, he can be. And I really want that to be true, but I don't want to hold my breath. Honestly, I'm so ready for all my thoughts and feelings that I have stated, you know, for this video thus far to be completely wrong, and my non-existent nuts to be completely blown off by whatever happens in Chapter 5, and then I'm gonna go cry for, you know, the next week, cause Deltarune is one more chapter close to being over. Who would have known that Gaster was ahead on the 6-7 trend? This is Gatsby from Gatskin, signing out.